I'm David Summers from High Performance Pilot, a show dedicated to improving our performance as aviation professionals. To do that, I'll use the core competency matrix and the behaviours contained within it. The skills, the knowledge, and the attitudes. Hello again, welcome back to the show, and coming up in this episode, I explore the behaviour of anticipates likely threats and events, plans and mitigates appropriately. A behaviour from the competency Situational Awareness. As pilots, situational awareness is an indispensable competency encompassing the ability to perceive, comprehend and project the dynamic elements of our environment. Within this competency is the capacity to anticipate likely threats and events and plan and mitigate appropriately. This proactive approach not only enhances safety but also contributes to improved decision-making and overall operational efficiency. Today I'll explore the significance of this behaviour. Let's move on to what this behaviour is. A duty day can be seen as a series of threats and problems that we are required to avoid and solve. Anticipating likely threats and events and planning and mitigating appropriately refers to our ability to foresee these threats and problems before they unfold. It is, quite simply, a fundamental aspect of how we get an aeroplane from one destination to another, safely. So why do we need it? Anticipating likely threats and events and then planning and mitigating them is at the heart of our operations. It is arguably the single most important behaviour we need to exhibit, and here's why. Once again, top of the list is safety enhancement. We inhabit a complex and dynamic environment, and even minor oversights can have significant consequences. Being proactive in identifying and addressing potential hazards can prevent accidents and incidents, safeguarding both passengers and crew. Moving on, we have threat and error management. We need to be proficient in this behaviour to ensure we are effective in threat and error management. Next, we have improved failure management. By anticipating new threats associated with non-normal and emergency situations, we can respond more effectively and safely when they occur. Efficiency and productivity. Anticipating potential events and challenges allows us to plan and prepare accordingly, thus optimizing operations and reducing delays. By mitigating disruptions before they escalate, we can maintain the schedule, leading to enhanced customer satisfaction and cost effectiveness. So we've looked at what it is and why we need it. So how do we achieve anticipates likely threats and events, plans and mitigates appropriately? Once again, top of the list, threat and error management. As I state in every episode, our industry is based around threat and error management. Ensure you bring threat identification to the forefront of your briefings. Understand that errors occur and that it may be you that makes them. Devote your focus on recovering from an error rather than dwelling on the error itself, and that includes apportioning blame. Next, follow up threat identification with a discussion about how you will avoid or mitigate that threat. Thirdly, training and education. Make use of your training inputs to develop this behaviour. Prepare for each event by considering the possible threats you may counter and plan your avoidance or mitigation. The more you practice, the better you will become, until it becomes second nature. Next, we have experience. Operating a commercial aeroplane is basically all about dodging the bullets that our environment shoots at us. Hands-on experience is invaluable in cultivating the ability to anticipate these threats and challenges. If you're the experienced crew member, spread that knowledge during your briefings. If you are less experienced, ensure you ask questions to gain as much insight as you can from your colleagues. This is turning into a long list of hows, which perhaps should come as no surprise given the importance of threat anticipation. So next up, we have effective leadership and teamwork. Work on creating an open atmosphere that will encourage the exchange of information and perspectives, and so foster a shared understanding of potential threats. This in turn will enable us to collectively anticipate challenges and devise appropriate mitigation strategies. And finally, use failure management models. Utilising models such as TDODA helps us to order our thoughts and present them in a logical order. This then creates an atmosphere where we are more likely to anticipate likely threats and events and plan and mitigate appropriately. Threat and error management. I've just mentioned this, but effective operation requires us to understand the potential threats and errors and so allow us to avoid or mitigate them. Here are some of the threats produced by not being proficient in, anticipates likely threats and events, plans and mitigates appropriately. The first and biggest threat is quite simple: compromised safety. Without proactive threat anticipation, the safety of your flight is compromised. Putting it bluntly, this may result in near-miss accidents, incidents, or other safety-related issues. The next threat: operational disruptions. Failure to anticipate likely threats can lead to operational disruptions such as flight delays, diversions, or cancellations. That leads on to the next one: reduced efficiency. Inefficient operations due to a lack of anticipatory behaviour can lead to increased fuel consumption and unnecessary expenditure, impacting the bottom line of your operating company. And finally, regulatory non-compliance. Neglecting the importance of this behaviour may result in non-compliance with the regulations and standards that govern us, leading to potential fines and legal consequences, which in turn will knock on to the profitability and viability of your company. Let's now look at a simple example of this behaviour, and that is our interaction with thunderstorms. It seems obvious that we should avoid them. Indeed, our operations manuals would dictate that we do. But time and again, there are incidents where aircraft have flown into them and caused injury to passengers and damage to aircraft. Thunderstorms are generally predicted on our weather charts, so at the briefing stage we can discuss our strategies to avoid them, including simply delaying takeoff or landing. This will ensure all crew members have the same shared mental model of how we will deal with a thunderstorm should we encounter one. Once airborne, they will not always be visible or their severity appreciated even if they are. The radar needs to be on and set up correctly, including ensuring the brightness is turned up. Yes, it has happened and it did cause severe damage. As a crew, we need to maintain good workload management practices to ensure maximum situational awareness and spare capacity, giving us the ability to deal with this threat. As the end of this episode approaches, here are the key takeaways. Anticipating likely threats and events and planning for them is a fundamental behaviour within the competency of situational awareness. It enhances safety, efficiency, and failure management. Effectiveness in this behaviour requires training, experience, effective communication, and leadership and teamwork, and can be enhanced with the appropriate use of technology. And here is this week's golden takeaway. It's quite simple. Make threat and error management the centre of your thinking. Utilise your briefings to highlight anticipated threats and errors so you can avoid or mitigate them. Understand the principles of workload management, allowing you to achieve enhanced situational awareness and so give you the best chance of trapping any unforeseen threats and errors. So there you have it. Anticipates likely threats and events, plans and mitigates appropriately. A behaviour from the competency Situational Awareness. I hope you found it useful, that you've heard something you can put into practice the next time you operate. These podcasts have an ultimate aim: to stimulate interest in the core competencies and inspire you to seek them out and apply them to further improve your effectiveness as a pilot. High Performance Pilot. Each week, one behaviour from one competency. We will break it down and provide tips and advice on how to make it a strength in your toolkit. Join me next week. And remember, these competencies should not be seen as 9 individual elements. Effective operation requires them to be used together, effectiveness in one being dependent on effectiveness in the others. They are all interconnected. Join me next week. If you wish to contribute or provide any feedback or ask a question, please email me at david@sim2sky.com.